I'm very passionate about literature, philosophy, and literature, and I recommend that anybody that is learning a language and then you reach an advanced level in the language, I really recommend using literature just to broaden one's horizon in the language, because there's nothing better than literature. There's nothing better than literature in order to deepen your understanding in the language itself. So I would suggest that literature is that web of knowledge where you can find an unlimited content in order to delve into, and then you can find really interesting authors to read and to be moved by, to be interested in their stories, their lives, their biographies, and their intellect and everything. So today we're going to continue with that. Okay, we're going to continue with that, and I hope that those of you that are watching this video, you have basically an advanced level of understanding of English, because I'm going to be using a lot of English in this video. The video is going to be in English, and I am going to be using English in order to communicate my ideas. So first and foremost, I want to talk about the poetries. Then I really wanted to tackle some of the greatest ideas on immigration in the United States of America and immigration in the whole world. As you might know, immigration, things that happen to Haitian folks in foreign countries, especially in the U.S. and borders between the U.S. and Mexico, especially in the river Rio Grande. So I really want to talk a little bit about borders, frontiers, walls a little bit, and I'm going to be reading two texts to you guys so that you can be that are contextualized in the American history, American literature, in order to understand this concept called walls or borders or frontiers. Okay, in the U.S. Okay, so without further ado, let's go straight to it. So you might see last week I used this book, and I'm going to be using this book again because the poem that I'm going to read is actually in this book. Remember that I gave you a homework assignment last week, and today I am going to keep on with it. We're not going to read short stories. We're going to read poetry, because I think reading poetry is an intensive sort of literature. It's not that long, but it has a lot to say. It has a lot of great ideas in it. So I think reading poetry is kind of better than reading a piece of, work from literature. But poetry is part of literature. So the text that I'm going to read today is a poem written by Stephen Crane, who's an author. I'm just checking it out now. Sorry. It'll take a couple of minutes just to get into it. I had it. So the story that I'm going to read has to do with human behaviors in the universe. The way that we believe that we are very important in the universe, and then we trying to infringe the rights of other beings or other existence in the universe, and then we're trying to expand ourselves to take all the spaces in the universe or in the world. Therefore, we kill a lot of existence. We kill a lot of beings. We kill with regard to our own well-being, to our own selfishness. So the text that I'm going to read is a poem written by Stephen Crane. I'm looking for the poem. I think it's a beautiful poem that you can use in order to Stephen Crane, page 216. Page 216. You can use this poem in order to deepen your understanding of the world, of reality, and use this poem to understand the way human beings understand the world, yourself, etc. So the title of the poem is A Man Said to the Universe. A Man Said to the Universe. Okay? So what do you think about that? A man, let's say a man, that does not mean someone who has a male is masculine, it means man in a sense of in a generic sense, right? Men and women at the same time. So as you say in French, shalom. So a man to the universe is the title of the poem, right? It's the title of the poem, and it's written by Stephen Criffman. Actually, he was from the U.S., especially New Jersey. A very interesting author, very interesting poet, and I really recommend this guy. I really recommend to read his poems, okay, and his poetry at the same time, because it's very metaphysical, and all of his poetries have to do with understanding human nature, the human behavior, the manifestation of human egos. So I think that, what does that mean? A man said to the universe. What are your preconceived ideas when I use this sentence? When I utter this phrase, a man said to the universe. So a man, the universe. A man is going to communicate to the universe, right? How the communication of a man is going to be understood, is going to be deciphered by the universe. It also supposes that the universe is an intelligent being. It's not a chaotic, materialistic, chaotic stuff that we have out there, but it's a being that has intellect, that has intelligence, memories, that has a linguistic code, that has a mean of communication, and has an information messages to share to other beings, or would say that to other seemingly sane beings. Okay, a man was a very limited to our understanding. A man is, we can say that, comparing to the universe, we can say that a man is limited in understanding and experiences, and we would say the universe is unlimited. Okay, it's boundless. Okay, the universe is boundless, whereas a man is bounded by his own perception, his own experiences. And we can say that the universe is I would say it's just getting all these men together, all these men experiences together, and that would give the universe. So this is the poem written by Stephen Crane. Stephen Crane, very interesting author, very interesting poet, very interesting writer. You can learn a lot from him. I recommend that you read his stuff, you read his books, his poems. Okay, they are very interesting. Okay, I recommend that you read them because they are very interesting. I recommend that you read them. Okay, very good. I'm going to read a quick biography of Stephen Crane, just to contextualize his poem. Okay, I'm just going to read. I have it with me right now. I have a couple of questions that I'm going to be asking you at the end of the video, and then we're going to analyze the poem, and then I'm going to be asking you a couple of questions. You can just write in the chat, in the comments, and then I can read them, and then I can share my understanding of the poem. Okay, so Stephen Crane was born in 1871 into a middle class family in Newark, New Jersey. He lived in a very flamboyant, short life filled with many adventures. He wrote both prose and poetry using his real life experiences from his career as a war journalist for much of his work. For example, by 1898, Crane was a reporter covering the Spanish-American War. He also covered the Greco-Turkish War. He published many works. His first story, The King's Favor, was published in New York Tribune in 1891. In 1893, he self-published Maggie, A Girl of the Streets. In the same year, he wrote The Red Badges of Courage. His most famous novel, he died in 1900 from tuberculosis. So you see, very interesting author, who participated in, was a reporter in wars, who wrote a lot of stories when it comes to from his personal experiences, from his personal perception of reality, and then experimenting different facets of human nature, different facets of human endeavors. Okay, he went to war and he was a reporter there in the Spanish-American War. So Stephen Crane is a very interesting author, and I really recommend reading his poem. I have a book which has a lot of like substance. It has a lot of stories of Stephen Crane. You can see his picture right here, right? I think he is fantastic. He's a fantastic guy. Okay, so A Man Said to the Universe is one of his poems that I'm going to read to you today. Sitting at home, I'm going to read this poem to you, and then I'm going to be asking you a couple of questions on this poem. But first and foremost, I have a couple of questions that I really want to ask you. Okay, and you can think out loud, or you can just think about them while I am just talking, and then I can give you a couple of seconds in order to just think about them. Then I can give my own answer. The first question is, how important do you think human beings are in the universe? How important do you think human beings are in the universe? Are they more important than other creatures and planets? How important do you think human beings are in the universe? How important do you think human beings are in the universe? Are they more important than other creatures and planets? Just think about that a little bit. The second question, how important is it for human beings to have a reason for their existence? How important is it for a human being to have a reason for his or her existence? Explain. The first question, how important do you think human beings are in the universe? Are they more important than other creatures and planets? Second question, how important is it for humans to have a reason for their existence? How important is it for humans to have a reason for their existence? Let's start with the second question, and we're gonna build up to the first question. But let's start with the first one, and then we're gonna build up to the second one. So the first question, how important do you think human beings are in the universe, and are they more important than other creatures and planets? Normally we'd say it's not just human beings. It's just, I think it's natural in every beings that you always going to grant a more important significance to yourself rather than the other, right? Because it's our natural instinct for survival. Okay, we tend to give more importance, and I'm not saying there's something bad with that, but we tend to give more importance to others. Okay, to other human beings. We tend to give more importance. We tend to give more importance to ourselves than other human beings, other objects, if I can use this word, because first and foremost, it's better. It's okay for our survival, because if we give importance more to another thing, another object that is not ourselves, we will cease to exist. Okay, therefore we should give more importance to ourselves if we want to perceive in this existence, in order to experience the other, right? Because I'm experiencing the other through myself. So all the psychological and neurological devices that I have in my here, in order to experience everything that is happening right now, is actually part of my personality, my character, what makes me as a human being. And then my experiences depends upon this media, okay? This media. And without this media, I'm not able to communicate my I'm not able to have a preference, okay? I'm not able to feel the me, right, different from the other, and to see the boundary that I can draw between me and the other. So how important do you think human beings are in the universe, and are they more important than other creatures and plants? I would say that just in order to be human, we should put that illusion in ourselves that we are more important than the other creatures, like animals, dogs, cats, lions, all sort of animals and plants. We should put it in ourselves that we're more important than them. And I think if they have a cognitive intelligence, they would put the same thing in their head in order to live, as a cat, as a dog. Okay? So, from a very survival standpoint, I would say we tend to think that we're more important than the other things, more important than the other objects. But from an epistemological standpoint, from a philosophical standpoint, there's nothing that is more important than the other. I'm not more important than the dog. The dog is not more important than me, because we have different functionalities, different ways of interpreting reality, and then reality is our possession on it. So from an epistemological standpoint, I would say that we are not more important than anything at all in the universe. And nothing at all in the universe is more important than us, because we are experiencing the universe through our senses. All right? That does not mean our senses are telling us the truth. If we take this Aristotle philosophy that we know the world through the senses, like the eye, the hands, right, which is very materialistic. But I would say that it's not exactly true, because we take that is part of the universe from our senses, that serve our survival, our existence. Okay? So the first question, I don't think myself there are two answers. If we take it from if we say that we have to live because, I don't know, we're here just to live, just to experience reality. That's it. There's nothing more interesting than that. There's nothing more important than that. It's just experiencing reality, experiencing yourself, experiencing others, experimenting different sheds, different realities, different shadows in you, different projections in you, different selves in you, and the other people. Just experiencing. There's nothing good, better, bad, and it's just reality, just experience. That's what we're here for. Okay, that does not mean we are not supposed to live that reality, because a lot of people would take nihilism philosophy, someone who is nihilistic, in the sense that a nihilist, in the sense that the person does not believe in anything. The person is trying to destroy all the social norms, all the social institutions, and all the I would say illusions that we create in order to live in society. I'm not saying that in that sense, okay? I'm just saying it in the sense that we're not supposed to give ourselves, in a sense, from a very philosophical standpoint, we're not supposed to give ourselves more importance than other creatures, right? From a pragmatic standpoint, it's important to give ourselves more important than other creatures, even than others, like other people. We're supposed to give ourselves more importance than the others, okay? People, like other people from the US, from Haiti, even from your own family. But from a holistic standpoint, okay, from a holistic standpoint, where society no longer exists, where there's no Haiti, there's no the United States, there's nothing. We're just taking the world, okay, in a single manner. So there's nothing more important than the other. Okay, there's nothing more important than the other. We just put that in our head. Let's take, for example, I want to give you an example right here. Let's say that I am, or you are an alien, okay? Some entity who lives in the sky. I don't know. Who's very super intelligent, okay? more intelligent, 10 times, 100 times more intelligent than normal human beings, so more intelligent than Albert Einstein, and then you actually observing, you have a different body, you have a different body, different physiognomy, autonomy, different physiology, okay, different ways just to present yourself to us, right? Because because human beings tend to have this anthropomorphic ideal to represent other creatures, other entities through his experience, and it's nothing bad with that, because I think that we can interpret reality through our experience, and our experience is very important because we cannot distinguish something. Once something is actually out of our reach, out of our experience, either we're afraid of it, or we just tend to say we say that it's devilry. Okay, we say that it's devil and it's not good. Okay, where it's mystery. So I would say that the first question, before just reading, you see there are a lot of stuff that we can say about this. I would say that we're not important, more important. If that alien is zooming out the world, and then is seeing me, you, animals, and then our linguistic code, we give it a lot of importance. We see there's reasoning behind it, there's a thought processing, there's all these things, but the alien has a super capacity to understand the world, to understand reality itself. That entity is not going to interpret reality through this way, because there are different ways to interpret reality. There's different ways to understand the world. So the thing that is very important here to understand is that reality can be interpreted through our experiences. So through our experiences, our senses, we have a sense to select part of reality, to select what's important in reality, to select what serves our survival, to select what's very important for us in order to live. This entity, this body, this mind lives in Haiti, who lives in the US, who lives in the Philippines, who live in Japan, who live in the United States of America, Brazil, Canada, etc. So if we just zoom in out, and then we're just saying that this is the human species, there's no one who is better, who is superior than the other. Let's take, for example, racism. Racism was something that we learn. It's something taught by elderly people. So, I think that it's not something that we inherently have, okay, from birth. It's something learned in society. You can see a lot of videos on YouTube, and the internet, seeing two people, different colors, black and white, okay, totally different, okay, they're hanging out together. Racism is going to be learned. It's going to be learned once that kid is trying to live in society and he's trying to survive as an ethnicity. Okay, he's trying to survive an ethnicity, and that kid is going to build up all sort of prejudice against the other races that has a lot of cultural and historical baggages on it, as bad, or I don't know, inferior than the other. So if you're zooming out from a holistic perspective, you're not taking the American perspective, the French perspective, the Canadian perspective. You're not taking any of these perspectives. Okay, you're taking the alien perspective. You see that there's no one who's better than the other. The men is not better than the women. Women is not better than men. Kid is not better than adult. An adult is not better than a kid, etc., 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 etc. Okay, so the second question is, how important is it for humans to have a reason for their existence? I think you should have a reason for your existence in the sense that you want to continue to live, to survive, because I don't recommend that if you just want to quick that, you're just gonna die. But there's a reason behind everything. I would say that it's good to have a reason to live. It's good to have a reason to live. You can say, for example, my reason is to raise awareness around certain metaphysical topics, and also to teach languages to people. That's my reason. That's one of my reasons to live. But other people can say, for example, Elon Musk is to build rocket ship just to go to Mars, okay, so that people can build a civilization in Mars, okay. For Noam Chomsky, the reason might be just to understand languages, and this interior faculty that human beings have to communicate with one another, and also to create a code that is very complex, and also to see where that organ, that capacity is located in the brain. That's a reason to live. Okay, maybe you watching me, you have a reason to live, right? But that reason is not the most important reason in the whole world. There are other things that are more important than that. That does not mean you should not pursue that reason, but do not take it very, very seriously, in the sense that it's like it's the truth. No, it's just survival. That's what keeps us alive. Okay, now I give my ideas on the two questions before I read the poem. The poem is written by Stephen Crane. I have it right here in front of me. I'm going to read it for you guys. So, a man said to the universe. A man said to the universe. Remember that I explained the different dynamics of the universe and man. And do not take a poem literally, okay? Okay, do not, when you say a man said to the universe, do not take it literally in the sense that a man is speaking and the universe is listening. Take it metaphorically in the sense that the universe is a very complex entity who has such an intelligence to understand human speech. And then through the observation, the experimentation of the author, he's telling us what the universe might think, in a sense that not think in a way that we're just thinking about something, but what we do into the universe, and we're not taking the universe into account. Okay, take it from that perspective. Do not take it from the perspective that the human is going to talk, he's going to use language, English, French, Spanish, Haitian Creole, Japanese, Russian, German, all these languages that I speak myself, and then he's going to talk to the universe, and the universe speak all these languages, or the universe speaks a specific language, and he's going to answer that particular guy. Do not take it from that sense, because it's literature, it's metaphors. Okay, there are stories. Okay, there are stories, myth, not myth in the sense that it's not true, but different stories in order to understand the complexity of reality. Okay, very good. So, a man said to the universe. I'm going to read that poem to you guys. Pay a lot of attention, because it's it's very short, very beautiful poem. I'm just going to read it for you. Okay, guys? Just pay attention. A man said to the universe, written by Stephen Crane. A man said to the universe, "Sir, I exist." "However," replied the universe, "the fact that has not created in me a sense of obligation." A man said to the universe, "Sir, I exist." The universe replied, "However, the fact has not created in me a sense of obligation." What's a beautiful poem. A man said to the universe, "Sir, I exist." "However," replied the universe, "the fact has not created in me a sense of obligation." It's a very beautiful and very short, sweet poem. Okay? A man said to the universe, "Sir, I exist." "However," replied the universe, "the fact has not created me a sense of obligation." A sense of obligation. A man said to the universe, "Sir, I exist." "Sir, I exist." "Sir, I exist." "The fact has not created me a sense of obligation." What a beautiful poem, guys. What a beautiful poem. Think about it. A man said to the universe. Remember what I said about the man and what I said about the universe? I said the universe is, to not take it literally in a sense, just take it in a very take it very lightly, in the sense that the universe is one entity that has the capacity to understand the world, and also the capacity to interpret reality, and interpret reality through the linguistic code of human being, which is different languages that we speak. It can be Haitian Creole, it can be English, it can be Spanish, it can be Portuguese, it can be Mandarin Chinese, it can be Russian, it can be German, etc. Well, we have all these linguistic devices in order to understand the whole world. And all these linguistic devices, they're actually different ways to interpret reality. There are actually different ways to talk to people, different ways to interpret reality, and different ways to interpret reality. And we might say that the universe has the capacity to understand that to understand exactly this way of understanding, and exactly the universe is able to interpret that. So, A Man Said to the Universe by Stephen Crane is a very interesting poem that you might consider reading. I suggest that you go to the internet and you look for A Man Said to the Universe by Stephen Crane. It's crazy. It's very interesting. I think that you might learn a lot from it, reading it from Google, and trying to think a little bit about it. Trying to think about it from a epistemological standpoint, in a sense that trying to think about it and trying to understand the different dynamics, the different ideas that that are actually transmitting, that the author is conveying, is transmitting to us as human beings, right? When the author said, "A man said to the universe," a man said to the universe. Okay, the man is going to utter some I don't know, his truth to the universe. Sir, I exist. Sir, I exist. However, replied the universe, the fact has not created in me a sense of obligation. The fact has not created me a sense of obligation. The fact has not created me a sense of obligation. This is actually the universe. The universe is actually talking, the universe is actually, let's say, interpreting the reality of the man, right? The universe is actually trying to understand what the man is actually thinking about. And the author tells us exactly what the universe thinks, okay? And then he gives us that understanding of the author of the universe from a very metaphysical standpoint. So, a man said to the universe, Stephen Crane, a man said to the universe, "Sir, I exist." However, replied the universe, the fact has not created in me a sense of obligation. The fact has not created in me a sense of obligation. So, remember the two questions that we had before. We have just quoted. The first question is, how important do you think human beings are in the universe? Are they more important than other creatures and plants? Are they more important than creatures and plants? How important do you think human beings are in the universe? Are they more important than creatures and plants? So, I give my ideas, and I said that the universe is, from a epistemological standpoint, that the universe is not more important than us from a survival standpoint. Sorry, from a epistemological standpoint, nothing is more important than the other. You're not more important than me, than I am. I am not important than you are. Okay, it's just reciprocal. It's mutual, right? We have these different ideas, different ways to interact with different people, and different ways to perceive reality, and we are unique. Well, we are singular in our own nature. Okay, so we're unique. We are singular in our own nature. So remember that this poem is very philosophical. Okay, it's not a poem in which you can say that you can interpret everything literally. Amen said to the universe. Okay, the universe is listening. The universe is not a person. Okay, understand the universe in a complexity of intelligence, in a holistic intelligence. You say the human intelligence, the cat, the animals intelligence, the aliens intelligence, the God intelligence itself. God intelligence, I'm not gonna say him or herself, itself. God intelligence, him or herself in itself. That's the universe. The universe that Stephen Crane is talking about here. Do you get that? Let me just pause a little bit, because that's really it's mind blowing. It's a mind fuck, as they say in English. The universe is, in this sense, okay, God experience. When I say God, whoa, let me just explain that a little bit. When I say God, I don't mean what most of people think about this concept. Okay? I don't mean that. Okay? I don't mean God, someone who's sit in the sky. I don't mean the anthropomorphic ideal of God that we take people when we go to church, and we actually were brainwashed. We're actually indoctrinated in believing in these things. I don't mean that. When I said God, I said the Godhead. I mean the super intelligence behind the two different movements, of the whole universe. There are two movements in the universe, two genders, two movements, separating in unity and division, and that's the intelligence of the universe that the author is talking about, Stephen Crane, and that's the universe, or if you can call it the multiverse. Okay, if you'd like to be scientifically correct. Okay, and that's the universe that I'm talking about now, and that's the universe Stephen Crane is talking about. Okay, a man said to the universe, a man said to God, and it's not in the sense that you understand it. Do not take it as God, as is written in the Bible, or as written in the Quran, which is Allah, or as is written in different spiritual texts, okay, in different traditional texts that we use in church, just to point to an ideal, to an idea. Okay, do not take it in that sense. When I say God, when I say the universe, I mean nature, everything that exists, including you and I. That does not mean that I'm a Spinozist in the sense that I'm a Penn naturalist. Okay, I'm not. It's not that sense that everything is God, and hopefully I hope that you don't take it from that standpoint. Okay, what I mean is that the universe is the collection of all the intelligence in the whole world. The greatest intelligence, better than the greatest intelligence that we have, and the stupid intelligence as well. That's the universe. Okay, and that's exactly what the author means. Okay, when he says that a universe. Okay, he's being metaphysical in this text. Okay, he is being metaphysical. Remember that what I said in his presentation. The author Stephen Crane spent a lot of time in the wars, and then he was a reporter. He was a journalist. He spent a lot of time in the wars, and then through his experiences, he wrote stories, poetries. Okay, remember that. Okay, so now my question for you, I'm going to be asking you do you like this poem, or you dislike this poem? Do you like it or dislike it? Why not? I think myself, I like the poem. I cannot say that I dislike it, but I would say that I like it. But if I have to take to give some arguments for somebody, for some reasons why some people might dislike this poem is because that this poem is kind of it's so metaphysical, and it might compel some people just to lose a sense of their ground. Okay, it might be a poem that can grow a lot of people, and a lot of people that we like to grow, they they only like to stay in their comfort zone. So whenever there's an idea, there's something that is trying to help them moving forward in their worldview, they are afraid of it. Okay, that's why they're just gonna say that's devilry, that's everything. So to some people that might be bad. I'm not saying it's bad, but the word bad itself is not. We should not take it too seriously, because bad is always relative. It's always relative, just relative to you and me. It's not something that is absolute. There's nothing bad in the universe. Everything is perfect. So when I say something is bad, it's because that it doesn't suit my survival agenda. So I would say that some people might be. That's why I don't really like to talk about these things. But today I really wanted to just test that a little bit. Talking about this poem, maybe I can really go back to some poetries, some poems by Stephen Crane, who's like William Blake's. They're all mystical poets. They talk about mystical ideas. You say, "Amen," said the universe. "Sir, I exist. However," replied the universe, "the fact has not created me a sense of obligation." Your existence hasn't created an obligation for the whole intelligence in the world. My existence as well. That's what it says right here. "Sir, I exist." When it says "Sir, I exist," what is existence? Existence is to manifest one's ego in an environment. So manifesting one's ego in an environment might mean destroying the environment. Like, this is what's happening right now with human beings. We are manifesting our humanness, or our humanity, that we are killing the environment, the whole environment. That's why we have climate change. We have a lot of greenhouses gas, and we have all sort of things happening in the universe, and there are a lot of extensions of some animals, some beings, because we are so omnipresent in the whole world. And then we want to expand our existence, regardless the existence of other creatures. So we take the Cartesian philosophy, the philosophy of Rene Descartes, in a sense that men should be the owner and the master of nature. We just take that philosophy, which is a Iron Age philosophy. Descartes wouldn't have said that if it were in it had been in 19th century. He wouldn't have said that. He wouldn't have said that. So you see, so the expansion, our existence, the fact that I say, "Sir, I exist in the sense that I am manifesting all the F word that we desire, and regardless the existence of the fragile, most vulnerable creatures. Okay, we're just manifesting that, and we're just killing millions of creatures. Okay, because they're just means. They're not on ends in themselves. Okay, so Stephen Crane is telling us that. Wait a minute. That's the universe, sir. That's the universe. The universe has everything. The universe has all the intelligence, has all the desires. The desires of the dog, desires of the plant, the desires of the earth, the desire of the animal kingdom, the desire of everything. So the universe has this desire, and then the universe is manifesting all these desires, all these desires all together. And as a human being, we should not. It would be nice. It would be reasonable not to expand our existence regardless of the side effect, the negative impact it would have in other species. And all the side effects that we have in the universe or in our world, they are mostly the result of our over manifestation of our existence. I'm not saying that for me, I'm not saying that for you, I'm not saying that for a lot of people. I'm saying that for we all together. Everybody lives in the universe. Okay? So, a man said to the universe, "Sir, I exist." Sir, I exist, which means sir, formal word they use in American English, or in British English they use it for honor and different, status for people. In American English, you basically use it whenever you're talking to somebody that you don't really know, you don't really have a great relationship with, and then you're just using it just to address that person. You cannot say Mr. because you have to use the last name or the whole name behind it in the American English. So when you say sir, you're addressing somebody that you don't really know, or you're addressing somebody just to show unfamiliarity with that person. Sometimes you do it deliberately. Right, like I can be in a classroom and then there's a student who's malbehaving, who's behaving really poorly, really badly, and I can say, "Sir." When I say "sir," it means that I don't like what you're doing. And I say, "Sir," it means that there's a distance between you and me. And then I say what I would like to say here. So when I say "sir," the man is actually talking to the universe, not really he or she, or say it doesn't have a lot of respect for the universe. It doesn't respect the fact that the universe is him, is her, is it, is everything inside of it, right? So, the fact has not created in me a sense of obligation. Your existence does not create an obligation for the universe. The universe doesn't have any obligation to the mankind. That's what the guy is saying. So Stephen Crane, very interesting author. I recommend his book. I recommend his poems. I recommend his poetry. Beautiful, metaphysical, philosophical, and mind-blowing. Your awareness might be expanded reading these poems. I really recommend them. So, before I finish, I have a couple of questions that I really want to ask you before. As you're sitting right here. So now, the same very old questions. How important do you think human beings are in the universe? Do you think we are very important? That's your own answer. I want you to have your own answer. And are they more important than other creatures and plants? Your own answer. Okay? You can just write in the comment section. Okay? You can write in the comment section just giving me your answer. But they should be your own and only answers. Okay? How important do you think human beings are in the universe? After reading this poem, do you think they are more important than other creatures and plants? Do you think we are more important than other creatures and plants? And the second question, how important is it for human beings to have a reason for their existence? That's the second question. Okay, so that's it, guys. That was Stephen Crane, very interesting author. I'm just going to read again his biography. Stephen Crane was born in 1871 into a middle-class family in New York, New Jersey. He lived in a very turbulent family, short life filled with many adventures. He wrote both prose and poetry, using his real-life experiences from his career as a war journalist for much of his works. For example, by 1898, Crane was a reporter covering the Spanish-American War. Remember the Spanish-American War? He also covered the Greco-Turkish War. He published many works. His first story, The King's Favor, was published in New York Tribunes in 1891. In 1893, he self-published Maggie's, A Girl of the Streets. In the same year, he wrote The Red Baggage of Courage, his most famous novel. He died in the 90s from tuberculosis. That's it, guys. And the poem, A Man Said to the Universe. A man said to the universe, "Sir, I exist." "However," replied the universe, "the fact has not created me a sense of obligation." I want you to go to the internet. Go to Google right now. Go to Google right now, or just right after this class, because we're going to do this almost every Sunday. Every Sunday, we're going to talk about poetry, literature, language learning, languages, English, linguistics, philosophy, metaphysics, etc. I'm going to be giving this class I'm just going to be doing it with authors. I'm going to be using books just to do it. And then we're going to talk about things that are very important in our lives and in society and nature, etc. using books. Okay, I'm always going to be using a story or a poem or a work written by a well-known philosopher, playwright, scientist, just to illustrate my point. Okay, and just using it as a reference. Okay, point. Okay. So guys, it was Ralph Valentin Jean. I'm very happy to be with you today. I hope that you go to the internet and look up A Man Said to the Universe. A Man Said to the Universe by Stephen Crane. Stephen Crane, Stephen Crane, Crane. Go to the Google and type A Man Said to the Universe by Stephen Crane. Okay? And then you're going to see the short. It's very short. I think it's 1 line, 2 lines, 3, 4. It's 5 lines. Okay? Just one stanza, 5 lines. Very short. Okay? Go to the internet. You can even find it on YouTube. You can see somebody. It's read like by an author, a narrator. Okay? Okay, guys. So if you don't have any questions, I'm actually going to give you 2 to 3 minutes. If you have a question, you have something, you have a suggestion, you have something that you want to tell me, okay, before I finish, you can just write in the comment section, and then I am going to answer the questions, okay? If you have a question, you can just write it in, okay? Just waiting for the questions now. I give you 2 to 3 minutes, okay? Let's see. If you don't, I'm just gonna close it, and then we just finish there. We're just going to finish there. All right. Okay. No question. A Man Said to the Universe by Stephen Crane. Waiting for your questions. Still no question. Okay. Yeah. Let me see the time. All right. I don't know if you can hear me. I hope so. Okay, good. Time is up. All right, guys. That's Ravan Snajan for. Okay, I just wanted to congratulate you on this awesome work. Keep it up. Thank you. Yeah. Last time I had Kazo, and this time we have you again. Thank you, man. Thanks a lot. It means a lot to me. You don't have any question on the text? I hope you go to the internet and type Stephen Crane. Okay? And A Man Said to the Universe. It's a very interesting poem. You can learn a lot with it. You can learn a lot about life. You can learn a lot of English with it as well. And I just wanted to do that with higher intermediate students and advanced students and native speakers in general. Okay, high, intermediate, advanced, and native speakers in general. Just talking about something that is very important in our lives, not just talking about English, grammar, pronunciation. If you need some workshop on different areas in English, like grammar, pronunciation, or phonology, morphology, stuff like that, I can prepare a very specific course for that in order to meet that linguistic gap, that linguistic lack that we might have. But Other than that, in order to expand your horizon in the language, I would recommend reading literature, reading great poets, okay? And you will understand the language better. My understanding of English is from actually reading great authors and listening to great speakers. That's how I pick up my English. Not actually in schools, because in school they just give you a basic understanding of the language. I would say they give you from basic to intermediate level, just to be able to understand people when they are speaking casually. But if you really want to speak the language, understand the language and the usage of the language, and being able to use it in a lot of different manners, I would recommend to listen to great speakers talking about important things, and then reading great authors. There might be a lot of things that I don't really know in English, like a lot of idiomatic expressions. I know a lot of idiomatic expressions, but there are a lot of idiomatic expressions that I don't really know, because I'm not somebody who is really after, idiomatic expressions. I basically go after just communication, being able to be understood, and illustrate my thoughts, my ideas, fantastically through language. And how many words can I use? How can I use the words logically? Okay, so that can make sense. That's what's my concern. That's where my concerns are. Okay, when it comes to language, especially English and French and Haitian Creole. Okay, because these languages, I consider them as my languages that I'm going to be using in order to operate in society. Okay, so I recommend that for you as well. Just trying to do that. If you're able to understand me, do that, and that's it. Okay. Thank you, Kazo. You don't have any question? Okay, Kazo. Very good. So, guys, that was Ralph Valentino Jean for Self-Taught Polyglot and my other YouTube channel. This kind of lesson is not actually for Self-Taught Polyglot. They're for my new YouTube channels that I'm going to launch maybe in November. Okay, which is going to be about existential ideas that I'm going to cover, but I do it in English anyway. So thank you guys for watching the live on Facebook. I always have your support. I am going to do my best to be do this live every Sunday, and then you can ask me your questions. You can just inbox me. Okay, just send me a message on Facebook, although I don't really browse all the time, but before doing the live, I will see them and I will read them, and I can give you an answer. Or maybe during the live, I will basically take them into account. And then it's not a formal class in the sense that we are doing things, we are just moving in a way, and then we are going to finish. It's just expand our understanding and deepen our experiences in reality through English. Okay, so every Sunday I want to try to do this live, and maybe in the future I'm going to create a page for it, and then maybe we can have different people that are going to participate, and then sometimes I can invite one person to discuss with me in the page, the channel, or the account. Okay, so I'm very happy that I have a couple of people watching me every Sunday. I'm gonna make a lot of effort just to be here, guys, every single Sunday at around 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m. or 9 to 10. Okay, I'm gonna work on the schedule. The schedule is not really fixed for now, but around 8:30 I would say, and we're just gonna spend 1 hour 30 minutes or 45 minutes talking about things that are very important, and then using English, using these things to deepen our and to brush up our English in a sense. Okay, and I recommend that you learn all the languages in English. Okay, so thank you guys for your time. I hope to see you in another live next week. I hope to see you next week, and we're gonna talk about something else, maybe another poet. Okay, thanks guys. Take care and have a great weekdays. Bye bye.